We are live.
Hello, and welcome to our Facebook Live series, Ask the Vision Loss Experts, Coping with COVID-19. My name is Dr. Tricia Grant, and I'm the Senior Director of Low Vision Research at the Chicago Lighthouse.
And I'm Dr. Brian Walensky. I'm a low vision optometrist in New York City, and I work with Orcam Technologies. Our intent for this series is to discuss topics like we're doing every week, engage people, and sharing information as pertains to vision loss during this time of social isolation and COVID-19. And in episodes, we bring in guests and topics that concern the community during this time.
And we welcome everyone to join, whether you or a loved one are visually impaired or blind, or you just want to learn more about the experiences of people who have vision loss, especially during this time of social distancing.
And thank you everyone who's been joining us each week. If you know someone who might benefit from these discussions, we ask just take a moment to hit the share button on this post. Today we have a great guest joining us, but right before we introduce him, I do want to ask our question of the day to the audience. And this one we came up with, which I'm hoping everyone will enjoy, is what has been one of your guilty pleasures over this quarantine? Sort of like, is it some TV show you've been watching or binging, or some food that you shouldn't be eating that you love, but you know that it's not part of your diet? So let us know. Give us your answers, leave in the comments below, and then we'll read it a little bit later and we'll answer ourselves too.
And last week, as we were celebrating Global Accessibility Awareness Day, we received a lot of questions from the audience about assistive technology. So we thought it would be best to bring in our assistive tech expert to help us tackle these questions. So today joining us is Patrick Andrade, and he is an assistive technology specialist at the Chicago Lighthouse. And Patrick is also a recent grad of the University of Pennsylvania School of Engineering and Applied Science, where he majored in computer science. While attending school, Patrick interned at the Chicago Lighthouse every summer in the IT department, during which he became passionate about working with the visually impaired and blind population. In his current position, he works alongside clients, eye care providers, and assistive technology companies in an effort to best match each and every person with the assistive technology that is best suited to help them meet their goals. In addition to working with clients, Patrick stays on top of the newest technologies and is able to provide direct input for product development.
Very impressive, Patrick. Welcome, and thank you for your service to everyone, and thank you for being here. We always start out by asking our question of the day right to you. So what has been your guilty pleasure during this quarantine?
Thank you both so much for having me today. So throughout quarantine, I've actually quit coffee, but only to switch it for something a little bit more potent with caffeine, which is matcha tea. So I am keeping my vices, but I'm switching the flavor, you could say. Additionally, I'm not a huge TV fan, but I am currently binge watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was a show that I grew up with. So it's been really fun to rewatch.
That's great.
Very nice.
As we introduced you, you're the assistive technology specialist at the Chicago Lighthouse. Can you explain a little bit about more what you do and how you even got involved in assistive technology?
Yeah, most definitely. So I first got my hands on assistive technology while interning at the Lighthouse in the IT department. Also, with some of my time I spent in the youth transitions program. So I was always around teens, they were actually only like about 5 years younger than me, but they had all the coolest, latest tech. And so I was always looking at it with them. And so while I was at the Lighthouse for IT, I frequently upgraded assistive software for users and was always right down the hall from the assistive tech department, observing what they do. But as I expanded into computer science throughout college, I quickly realized my passion wasn't really programming applications. I found much more joy in finding ways to improve applications or technologies for people that I know and care about. So this led me to taking classes like human factors engineering. And so then by the time I left school, I knew I wanted to be involved in the community and its technology.
That's really great. And I know the Lighthouse is so grateful to have you. And when the people come to see you, so when the clients are coming to talk to you about technology, where are they coming from? Where do they find you? Is it their eye doctor that's referring them? Are they hearing from the community? Are there some marketing strategies that are being used that are picked up by the audience? How do people find you?
So there's a lot of different ways that people actually find the Lighthouse. So whether they're looking for my predecessor or even myself, our number is posted in so many places that I'm really grateful for, because it allows them to reach out to me and for me to be able to provide them the information that's out there, but really hard to find in a single place. And so that's what I find really interesting and somewhat frightening about what we have right now is there's so much information out there, but it's really hard to receive it and retain it. And a lot of clients are getting it bits and pieces from their loved ones, from their physicians, from the internet on their own, which is really great. But it's even better when we're able to help them out by having them come in and be able to lay out all the information for them so it's clear and concise and help them find what they're really looking for.
Yeah.
People are out there finding professionals like you where they are and where they're at. But what really, the core of it, what happens during the, assistive tech evaluation? And how do you determine, a device like, I work with OrCam, so something like OrCam, how do you determine like that's the best option for a patient?
Yeah, so what I love most about my job is it's always a conversation. And so you really want to start it out by asking them how they're currently living their everyday life, what kind of tools that they use, what are they prevented from doing? Maybe they're no longer able to see the TV, so they're back to just listening to it. And so maybe that's something that they want to address, and that's what we can find out throughout the conversation, and also just asking various questions. Maybe there was something that they didn't think about that they could, maybe before they were never interested in using the computer, but finding out that there's software that can make it as simple for them as it is for other users who don't have any visual impairment, then it can totally open their world even more. And so it's always just a conversation.
So they don't actually always know what they're looking for. Do you find that sometimes people come to you and they find options they never knew existed before?
Oh, completely. And especially because the technology is always evolving. With OrCam itself, there's new tech coming. They have new tech coming out for their products. It seems like every month so far this year. And so that could be the same case in many other places. And it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up even for me. Like, I have my job because it's so hard to keep up on the latest technologies, and I'm here to do it for them.
There's technology, it's all advancing, and definitely you got to keep track of it. And that's what's great about an assistive technology specialist like you, Patrick. So thank you. I just wanted to reintroduce in case people joined us a little late. I'm Dr. Brian Walensky. This is Dr. Patricia Grant, and we're here talking with Patrick of the Chicago Lighthouse. And we're here talking about vision loss during this time of COVID-19 and quarantining, and bringing topics and bringing guests like Patrick here. I just want to remind everyone of the question of the day. What has been one of your guilty pleasures during the quarantine? And we'll get to that afterwards. And so what's yours? And we'll get to it, and we'll talk about ours too.
Yeah. So Patrick, when you first joined the Lighthouse, one of the projects that you and I started working on right away was the OrCam My Eye 2. So we were looking at that technology. So I heard a rumor that there's a new device, and it's called the My Eye Pro. And I haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard anything about it. Can you share something about it?
Definitely. I have it with me right now. So what's so great about what they've done with the My Eye Pro is that it now has something called, it already had natural language processing, in which you could tell with the voice command. So beforehand, I could tell it to talk faster, talk slower. But now what you can do is talk to it and have it do things for you. And so what I mean by this is I can look at a menu, and without having to find the salads, I can ask it to find the salads for me. And so they're calling this smart reading, and it's well worth what it is. And because, let me demonstrate really quick. So right here I have a simple menu for Miguelitos. And what I'll do is I can double tap, just like I would for a voice command, start interactive reading.
Some of the text was unreadable. Ready.
So it's gotten all of its text, it just wants me to give a voice command. So I'll say, find salad.
Found 3 results of salad. First result, beet salad, $12.75 pickled beets. Second result, dinner salad, $9.2s. Third result, taco salad, a flour or corn tortilla shell. I am listening.
And there you go. So it just found all 3 results of the salad for me on this menu that had me like probably over 25 items.
I'll take the salad.
Yeah, you picked salad.
I love salad, sorry.
I just want to let people know who may not be able to see the screen that you put on a pair of glasses and you have the device clipped to the side of the glasses. And the device is very small itself. It really is like the My Eye 2, right? It's the same build and it just clips onto your glasses. And then you're just able to hold up the menu and point to it, and it scanned and was able to find you what you were looking for. And that is pretty incredible.
You're exactly right. And what's more incredible about it is the fact that it's doing it all offline. As Orcam has always expressed, one of the best parts of their device is the fact that it's so secure, because nothing is ever saved, nothing is ever shared with anyone else. No one is seeing what you're seeing. And and so that's just, it still is the case, and the device hasn't grown in any size. It's all offline. And the fact that it can do that offline is so different from things like your cell phone, where you can talk to it and you can ask it to find things, but it always has to be connected to the internet. And so that's something that people don't often realize, that they have to have that internet connection. And that's not always available to you. And you don't always want to be connected to the internet because it can be insecure.
Yes, I agree with that. That is really an important piece, because you don't want to worry about, I'm going out for an outing, is there going to be Wi-Fi connection, and I'm going to be able to access all the material that I hope to. So that is really important. Thank you for mentioning that. So as I'm watching you use this, I'm thinking that this device has been designed for people who are blind and visually impaired, but it seems that other groups can you find this useful as well? Has that been thought about or talked about at all?
Oh, yeah. So this can still be utilized totally by anyone who suffers from eye fatigue, dyslexia, or even just the aging. Oh, sorry, it's still working.
Still talking to you.
Or even just the aging population that's suffering from an increased amount of macular degeneration. And so we don't know how that's going to play out for that generation. And and so this is just a critical device for all those who are aging or dyslexic or whatnot.
Repeat the last sentence.
Now it's going to have a full-on conversation with you.
To say exit.
Correct. That's that natural language processing and natural language understanding. So yeah, it listens to you. And yes, you're mentioning different populations. So BVI, brain injuries. I have worked with a stroke survivor with the reading capability, and dyslexia, and basically it's any auditory readers too. Anybody is reading by auditory, it could be useful for. But with all these technologies, all these advancements, Patrick, and everything we have to show people, the assumption is always like, oh, I need to be tech savvy. You mentioned someone, our senior patients who maybe don't even a phone or a smartphone. Do they need training? Is it mainly for younger or older? Who is really technology for?
Yeah, so I would say the client that I've met that has been the biggest supporter of the OrCam device is 96 years old, young, I should say.
Wow.
And her doctor was very worried as to whether she'd be able to get the hang of it. And she came to me, she said, I trust that you'll be able to train me, and I want to leave knowing how to use this. And I said, okay, let's do it. We're going to do whatever we can to get you using this. I know you want to use it, and I want you to use it because you're telling me how you think it can help you. And so she had all of these, she's been over, I've been talking to her over this, I almost called it a break, quarantine. And she's been going through a ton of documents, and I actually sent her an additional pair of glasses because she lost her pair of glasses. And she was saying how desperately she needs the device during this time to keep reading and going over all of her files. She was using the time to like clean out everything, and so she wanted to make sure what she was throwing away she didn't actually need. And yeah, she's a whiz with it, and all she needed was a new pair of glasses. I sent it to her, and she knew exactly how she could get back going. And yeah, she is probably the biggest advocate for the OrCam that I've met, and it goes to show that anyone can use it.
For sure. So you mentioned that OrCam is coming out. I mean, Brian showed us Dr. Walensky showed us the Read last week, and you're showing us the Pro this week. And, you know, I'm sure maybe next month there'll be something new. So how do people stay current? How do you stay up to date with all of, you know, someone who's not in the tech field, but definitely wants to watch what is happening, what is going on? How do you stay current with that?
Yeah, so one thing I've taken the time that I've had away from the office to do is I'm working on building up the Lighthouse's platform to show people the technology as it comes out and keep them up to date with the types of things that they could add to their tool belt. And so that will be consisting of expanding our blog on our website, as well as the YouTube channel for the Lighthouse. And besides ourselves, other great companies are like the National Federation for the Blind. Other blind organizations that they are the top people to be working on these resources and materials that people need and can go to on the internet. And so I would like to keep it where they're a good resource, but I'd also like to expand the Chicago Lighthouse as being a possible resource for people as well. And so continue to reach out to those organizations, and also just keep a lookout for us, as we'd like to maintain a helpful presence in everyone's lives.
Absolutely. And if someone is watching today in the Chicago area, given things open up again, can they come straight to you? Do they need to contact their eye care provider first? How would the process look for them?
So we're starting to expand telehealth. And so we can now begin those conversations for people no longer have to come in, although it is nice to see these kinds of tools in your own hands and see it and get a feel for how it can either change your vision or benefit you without enhancing your vision. And so we're going to start doing that over telehealth by holding those conversations. And when we can, we're going to bring people in a matter of a way that's safe, by disinfecting everything, and also having the guards between me and the person who's looking for tools. And yeah, we're starting back up on Monday, so I'll be in the office then, and hopefully I'll have plenty of people to talk to and help out.
I think so.
So the best way for someone to stay in touch is keeping an eye out on their local organizations.
Yeah.
As Chicago Lighthouse, if they want to know more. Even, we have actually international viewers here too. So welcome everybody. I don't know if anyone knows, OrCam is actually in 50 different countries with 25 different languages. So it's amazing. It's, so if people even want to learn more, they speak to, Patrick at the Chicago Lighthouse, and even on OrCam's website at www.orcam.com, people can go to as well. Thank you, Patrick. Do you have any last things that you want to bring up for us or leave us with? Any last thoughts?
Nothing more than please stay safe, everyone, and yeah, be a good neighbor.
Thank you.
Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
You too. So if you're interested in contacting Patrick Andrade after the show, please visit our Ask the Experts webpage, and you can find that at www.chicagolighthouse.org, and type in Ask the Experts in the search menu, and it'll bring you to contact information for Patrick. And you can also replay all of our episodes in the past and link to any resources that we may have mentioned during our conversations. And the direct link to the page will also be posted in the comments section below.
Yeah, and I want to thank Patrick for doing that great demo.
Yes.
And thanks for bringing him on as well and introducing me to him. It's great hearing another low vision professional out there doing a great. And as I mentioned before, we have actually international viewers.
Yes, we do.
If you want to learn more, like I said, internationally, just go to the OrCam website and you can learn more. Now, we did ask the audience, about what their guilty pleasure has been. So what has yours been, Dr. Grant?
Oh, I didn't really have to think about it. I just was like, oh, am I really going to admit this? But my friends all know that I've been obsessed with Cheeto Puffs. That's my guilty pleasure. I buy them, tell myself I'm going to share them with my son, and I barely do. He barely sees them. So that's been my guilty pleasure. It's not something I normally eat, but I really enjoy them. So there you go. How about yours? What's been your guilty pleasure?
Mine, like other people have been mentioning, so I'm following what people are saying or trying to, somebody sending me the information. So I apologize if there's a little bit of a delay too. That's just, I guess, technology.
Yeah.
So mine has been, it sounds maybe a little weird, but eating dinner for breakfast or eating dinner foods for breakfast. So like leftover pizza for leftover. I ordered some Indian food the other day, and so I had some chicken curry for breakfast. So I guilty pleasure. It's
that
not really
sounds like a good way to start the day.
sure. Maybe not as healthy. I know some other people here were mentioning a few things. Let's see. So I know someone, of course, people are mentioning food. So Julie Hall mentions food. And hi, Andy. Overeating is his guilty pleasure.
Hi, Andy.
Right. I think we're all overeating, Andy.
Yeah,
We're all gonna have to get on an exercise routine. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. We had some good responses. Andy says, what incredible technology. He wants to know more about this. Andy, you're in the Chicago area, so you are someone that can contact the Lighthouse or contact me, and I'll put you in touch. Sam Sadowski says, really cool. And here's a question that Dr. Walensky, you may be able to answer. So my I2 got this through a software update. Can you please explain why we need the Pro?
So the My Eye Pro has basically new features such as the interactive reading, which is what was just demonstrated. Which we could talk a little bit more about, and which is really a true advancement. It's amazing. Now, I'm no engineer, and I know we were going to talk about this. I'll bring it up right now. But I did look up some of this stuff, and really, I'm more practical how somebody uses something. And it's amazing that you just speak out what you want and get the information. But natural language processing is actually a subfield of artificial intelligence, which really involves human language interaction, computer understanding what you're saying. And we all talk fast, slow, accents, this, that, and it's understanding us and understanding what we want, which is amazing with AI. Now, engineers are working on computers to process data like the human brain does. So like I hear something, I know exactly what it is. So that's what we want a computer to do. Now, natural language processing involves speech recognition, natural language generation, and natural language understanding. So it's understanding what's being said or comprehending. So in the AI world, these are actually very extremely difficult problems to work on. And in case of OrCam, this is all done offline, which is also amazing. So natural language processing really represents a significant leap forward and innovation for OrCam's device and platform. So simply put, a computer is understanding what you want from the text by simply speaking. And remember, like I said, it's all done offline. Engineers are working really hard on these complex problems and really creating personal and personalized AI solution. So it is amazing from what I was reading about these complex problems and how much it is. Now, another thing that's being brought out is orientation, but it's out in a beta phase right now. It's still being worked on. And orientation, what it is, it's basically going to orient you to things or guide you to things. It's going to tell you where the table or where the chair is and then guide you to that chair. Also, like a cup on the table and be able to guide you to the cup on the table. So object sort of recognition, but orient you. That is not meant to take the place of a cane or a guide dog. And it is not obstacle detection, meaning it's going to see a branch and protect you from that. It is not doing that. So really those O&M skills are still so important in all ways. But there are things out there, AI, to help us. It's a great future with technology and what it can bring us. Now, speaking of, all the research and development that's being done in technology, I know you work in research as well. So, what have you been doing that involves, assistive technology?
Yeah, so almost all of the work that we're currently doing involves assistive technology. And I was thinking about, if you asked me this question 10 years ago, that wouldn't be the case. But the advancement of technology has completely changed the game for low vision rehabilitation strategies. So we are investigating. So obviously all of the work that are done by the tech companies is obviously very important, but once they are into the hands of the users, we want to see how they're using them. We want to know, how are they improving life? What tasks are people doing with them? Are they helping to regain visual function? So we want to answer those questions. And once they're in the hands of individuals, how are they being used? And I mentioned that Patrick and I were working on a study together, and that is on the OrCam MyEye, and we are looking at how is the OrCam being used in the workplace, and we want to know, is it helping to develop new jobs? Is it helping with job tasks and things of that sort around the workplace? Social interaction. It's been really cool to see so many of my coworkers wearing the device around the lighthouse, and then also, they have my face in there, so they see me coming or they hear me coming, and they call out hi to me. So I really enjoy that, watching that type of interaction. So exploring that. So much of, the end users are really involved. And this is the thing that I love about technology right now, assistive tech, is that the end users are really involved with the research that's being done. And also so much of their feedback is going right back to the companies. And so in a sense, they're part of the design, they're part of the development. And I think that that's a really great opportunity. So, this is my plug to encourage people to participate in our studies, because they're important. It's important. And the fact that the tech companies are opening up those doors and want that feedback is also really important. So that's a lot of the work that we're doing, and we're going to hopefully going to be doing more of it in the future.
No, I agree. It's really important. Comment here. One person, Brooke, thank you so much. You need to hear this, Dr. Grant. Thank you for the webcast. You're welcome.
Oh,
we love
you, Brooke.
We like the interaction with everybody.
Yeah.
Ask more questions. Might these be ongoing? They're uplifting. Thank you so much. We're hoping that this is ongoing. We hope to bring more topics, bring more people, even as time goes on. Even maybe we'll see after this quarantine, we'll see what we can put together.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about different topics and see what people are interested in and what's in the news and what's going on. So
Yes.
we do our best. Thank you so much for all being with us too, and sharing as well.
Yes,
sharing.
definitely.
So,
We have one question from last week. It was, we had it on Bobby Williams. He is a veteran. And a follow-up question from last week was, is assistive technology available through the VA? And I thought that was a really great question.
Yeah, no, it's a very simple question. And, yes,
Yeah.
it is, but you do have to go through a process.
Mhm.
You do be evaluated by a low vision optometrist at the VA. You have to go through different coordinators, and you do have to go through some evaluations in order to get approved for any technology devices. So there is a process. It doesn't mean like, okay, I just go there and I get what I want. It really needs to fit you. I always say assistive technology is very personal, meaning it has to be personalized for you and work with you for what you want. Sort of like somebody like Patrick who does an evaluation. That's sort of what you need to go through, be evaluated, and then they'll find the best tech for you. Maybe it's not, maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's not even tech. Maybe it's just something even like orientation mobility, using a cane, for things like that. They're going to put you through whatever you need. But yes, so things are available through the VA, rightfully so, and thank you. And I did want to make one comment though that somebody asked, even from the last week. We touched on it last week. This is from John Smith about X-linked RP treatment. We did touch on it last week. Watch last week's episode. It is there in there. If not, we can maybe like put another link to it, but it is on the page, on the Facebook page. So you can find it in detail. I'll give you the quick little thing because everyone else might have heard. Really, studies are really going through safety protocols right now. There have been shown some a little bits. I could put up one of the studies, but really talk to your doctor too. But if you want to find out more about what studies are actually going on, Dr. Grant, you can mention that website.
Yes, it's clinicaltrials.gov, and you can just type in keyword, and you can actually type in a couple keywords because, you know, just if you do RP, it's, you know, a huge list will come up, so you can continue narrowing down to your location, who's actively enrolling. You can take a look at results. So I encourage everyone to do that.
Always remember, be safe with this stuff. There's a lot of
Yes.
clinics coming out, a lot of unfortunately bad things happening within the research world. You have to make sure things are approved studies, and go to this website, and that's the way. And also talk to your doctors. Your doctors definitely can lead you in the right direction. If, like I said, I gave a whole thing last week about X-linked retinoschisis, so listen to that. If you need more, you know, ping me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to put more information and links so you can find it for yourself. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just give the website one more time. If you visit www.chicagolighthouse.org and type in Ask the Experts, you can be linked to that last week's episode and also to the clinicaltrials.gov website.
All right, thanks so much. And please thank Patrick for me. I know you.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Patrick. The work you do is very important. So we do thank you for talking to us about it today. And everyone, join us next week. We will be back next week and we'll have a guest for you. I think will be very interesting to hear from. So we hope that you tune in.
Yes, and please share with your friends. And we hope to come up with some more fun questions and see what we're doing. Tomorrow, maybe I'll do pizza for breakfast again. But I want everyone to really stay well, stay safe, and wash your hands. And remember, don't touch your face. Bye, everyone.
Bye.